Welcome to Heart of North Texas, a philanthropic podcast that celebrates the work of nonprofit organizations in the region. In each episode, we will bring you stories of compassion, resilience, and dedication from the people who are making a difference in the lives of others. This episode brought to you by Credit the Cause, the home of the infinite donation.
Today we have Jean and Luis with Wolfpack Dynasty, which is a nonprofit I had known nothing about prior to just recently. I was at a networking event, and as soon as I mentioned that I have a podcast that features nonprofits, somebody trucked up to me and was like, I'd like to give you my card. And so that worked out, and we've talked on the phone a little bit, and then we've scheduled you all on. But I think Wolfpack Dynasty is a pretty new nonprofit.
We are.
How long ago did y'all get started?
October 2023.
October.
So we just literally turned a year.
All right. Fantastic. And whose brainchild was Wolfpack Dynasty?
That guy over there.
Okay.
Yes. Basically, we started, I'm a volleyball coach, and we started seeing a necessity in the market, in the volleyball club market. Volleyball clubs are very expensive.
Yes.
They can run you from $5,000 to $10,000, and although from a profitability and business perspective, that's great.
Yeah.
But for the athlete that doesn't have the means to get to that point, that's a big problem. Particularly because there is no visibility to those athletes from the college level if they're not playing club.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's why we started to see that necessity, and we decided to create Wolfpack Dynasty to cover that gap in the market.
I know about Wolfpack Dynasty, but some of our listeners might not. So tell me what it is.
So Wolfpack Dynasty is a volleyball club. We do recreational teams and club teams. Our biggest thing is take our girls from rec to club, because rec is very cheap, it's very affordable. It happens 4 times a year because it runs year long. But club doesn't. Club runs through spring season only. It's a lot more expensive. So that's how we became. It is a full-on volleyball club.
Which is incredible. From what I understand about it, wait, how many coaches do you have with Wolfpack?
Right now we have 4 coaches, yes.
All right. Okay. So you started October 2023, which would be rec.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the spring, you had 4 coaches, and you're coming up to the next spring. You'll have 4 coaches again.
So hopefully we're growing.
Okay.
The idea is to continue growing and have more coaches.
No, for club, we currently have 3 head coaches and 3 assistant coaches. And then for rec, we have an extra coach in there and looking to get more people in.
So is this a volunteer opportunity for people?
It is. So rec is fully volunteer. Club, the coaches do get a small stipend just because of the time of the commitment that they need.
Sure.
But yes, so we like to start all our coaches through rec and test them out, us coaching them. How do we want our coaching styles to be? And then that is fully volunteered. This season, we thought we were only going to have 3 rec teams, and for winter we have 5.
Nice.
So, and we're already preparing for spring. Usually we're running any season from 3 to 5 teams per rec season. So yeah, we need 1 coach at least for all those teams.
Okay. And I'm going to back up a little bit to 20 years in soccer. You played, where did you play?
So I played school, obviously. I played since I was in elementary school, all the way through high school. I did not play in college. I every time I tell the story to either coaches or players, I always tell them the same thing. It was mainly because of youthful ignorance, because I decided to have fun at college.
Gotcha.
For the most part. But then as soon as I entered the job market and I landed my first job in a financial institution, big bank back in Puerto Rico, and they had volleyball among the different departments.
Oh.
So I started playing at that level, and basically I've been playing at some amateur level or other in the different places that I've been working at.
All right. And are you also a volleyball player?
I am not.
You're not?
No.
I played very little when I was in high school. I was afraid of the ball. Like, I was seriously afraid the ball was going to hit me. And so that was not beneficial to any kind of ball game. With your idea, you said last year in October, so club hadn't started. Did you originally think rec was where you were going to stay, or
No.
you knew we were going to do rec and a club combo?
So I was already coaching rec since 2021.
Okay.
So by the time that we really decided to form Wolfpack, the idea of what the starting point and the end point was already set.
Okay.
We wanted, as Jean said, we wanted to run the girls, develop the players through recreational leagues. And once we knew that they were at a certain level, we sort of graduate them into club level.
I'm not familiar with club level. Is it high school or is it a certain age?
It's not really, the age brackets really, you can start in club, I think, all the way down to 8U.
AU.
So you can start young, but it's really the skill level what determines.
Okay.
Normally, when the players start in recreational leagues, a lot of these players have never even touched a ball before,
Okay.
right? And you start developing them, you start working with them. Some may have played a little bit, but they're not. They haven't really developed their skills yet enough, because the competition level in club is really high. That's
Understandably, they're paying
This
a lot
is
of money.
Yes. This is what we call either select teams, and we work under the USA Volleyball Association, I think it is. They also have AAU, which is what was that one? I forgot.
It's the American Athletic.
So these are two big associations that have. For USA Volleyball, it's only volleyball, but AAU has different type of sports, and they do big tournaments. These tournaments, Texas is really big in tournaments during the club season. So these are your teams that either go to other states and compete against other teams from those different states. That's what's club level. It's that next step for your game. These are the athletes that hopefully end up in the Olympics. So
it's pretty cool that there's the potential then for them to move on, not just to college, but the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that our listeners might be wondering, if I was interested in getting it's girls, right? Girls volleyball?
well, we can do boys.
Okay.
But this year we're focusing fully on girls.
Okay. All right.
As we grow, we're definitely looking forward to including boys as well, because the sport is growing on the boys' side too,
Okay, cool.
and it's growing fairly rapidly. But there's still a big number discrepancy. You can, for example, in the North Texas region, there's about 19,000 players total,
Okay.
and about 300 to 400 are boys.
Ooh,
Mhm.
100.
Mhm.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
So we're talking
All
about
right.
a big gap in
For
terms
sure.
of gender playing the sport, but it's growing.
Well, Top Gun, come on. Not exactly that level. But what I'm thinking is that you've got parents that are listening, or you've got teenagers that are listening that play volleyball, and they're thinking, well, I'd like to, but I can't afford to, kind of thing. When they are in the Wolfpack Dynasty Club, they actually get the opportunity to play with everyone else in club. It's not like, I'm asking that because when I was younger, we were, I had free and reduced lunches, and I was worried to eat with the other kids in the cafeteria because I didn't know if my lunch card looked different, and I didn't want to be different. I didn't want people to think I was poor.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't eat a lot of times. And so for kids that are in club, it doesn't matter. They're in club. They're
Yes.
playing with everyone else who's in club.
Yeah, once you make the team and you go there, no one knows where you're coming from.
Yeah.
To your point,
Yeah.
it's just another more club team, and really what it's going to make the difference is obviously that the time commitment and the effort that they put in court for training and at game time. That's really what's going to end up determining their success at those events.
That's great. The volunteers then, is it solely coaches, or what other volunteer opportunities do people have to serve?
Anything and everything. So I do the administrative side of the whole organization, including rec or club. Volunteer, obviously mostly coaches, because that's what that's our mission, like having those teams to take.
Sure.
But people that can do marketing. Some of our board members are doing social media. People that have contacts for uniforms or the spirit wear or the cup that everyone wants with the logo or the athlete, all of those things. If I have more help or we have more help to go and get to these companies or organizations and say, hey, this is our product, this is what we do, how can you help us continue doing this? Yes, we really do need that. We work full-time, plus we have Wolfpack, so it takes a lot of our days to just start looking like, okay, where can we find grants that will help us run our organization? Where can we find sponsorships? Where can we go and put our name on so kids can see, hey, this is an opportunity to go play volleyball? So marketing, I think it's one of the biggest thing that if anyone wants to volunteer, we're more than open.
Please, if you're in marketing, and there's beep, beep, this is the bat signal.
It really comes to marketing, really, to get the word out there, and not only for the players, but for any potential donor or sponsor that would like to, help the mission. Because at the end of the day, there's still a cost for the players.
Sure.
Even though the coaches are donating a lot of their time, because really all they're getting is a very small stipend that covers just, I guess, gas to go to practice or go to the tournaments and food at the tournaments and things like that. It's ultimately very minimal. But there's still a cost, because the uniforms run a cost. The courts where we practice, they run a cost. The tournaments themselves, they run a cost. Right. I can give you an example. This season that we are now entering, which is the 24-25 club season, our girls, the cost for club is $1,800. It's still significantly less than the traditional club, but it's still a cost,
right?
And our mission is to try to even though that we were able to reduce the cost up to that level, we still want to provide the opportunity for players to either find their own sponsors, but we also are out there looking for sponsors, because our mission is to get that number as close to zero as we can. We have 4 players, you said earlier?
I think around 4 players this year that didn't pay anything out of pocket.
Oh, wow.
They were able to get sponsors. They really were out there hustling. And they got their sponsors, and they did not pay anything.
Good for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important if they're willing to hustle, then they deserve that. That's
and
fantastic.
Out of our 33 players, I think more than half are paying a lesser amount out of pocket, just because they either got sponsorships, donations, or money that we were able to give out.
Do you feel like the sponsors are parents, family, or are they businesses?
Both. We've seen both. We've seen parents. Mm-hmm. We've seen parents of other players, donating.
We have had businesses, but mostly the business is a family or a friend that I know that has a business and decided, you know what, we want to help out. So yeah. But I think the biggest thing right now is us trying to get like a big sponsor for the club itself as a whole, that it's in the sports area, just because it would give us a big push to help these kids and give them way more than what we're giving right now. Because every day we keep talking and I am like, okay, so we have this amount left. What can we do with it? And we added extra practices. I'm now trying to look for performance training and get it fully sponsored so the parents don't have to pay for it. So it's those little things that not everyone sees, but that they make a difference in the athlete's career, that I'm constantly going like, okay, so 1 + 1 = 2. So if I have $1 left, how can I better use it for the athletes?
Nice. That's good that you have that that mindset, so that a way it's benefiting everyone. You're not just giving it out, shelling it out. Yeah, you're thinking through how that's going to look.
The Heart of North Texas is sponsored in part by Credit the Cause, a payment processing company that donates 40% of gross revenue to a charity of the business's choosing, turning the cost of doing business into purposeful giving. Visit creditthecause.com, the home of the infinite donation. And now, back to the Heart of North Texas with Zoe Martin.
How old are your girls?
3. Our daughters?
Yes.
3 and 1.
3, 1.5. And
Oh,
then we
this
have a
is a
son.
long ways away for them.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm
But we
thinking
do have
they're
a son, and
preteen,
he's
but
10 years old, and he does play volleyball.
okay.
He got into volleyball because we kind of made him, and it was like, this is what we do. You gotta at least do it. But little by little, he's like getting very excited about being a part. The only thing is he plays with girls.
I was going to say, is it co-ed then, or
Yes.
there's the potential for it to be
for
co-ed?
the recreational leagues, well, at least the ones that we go to and we take the teams to, it's co-ed. Club, I think club is co-ed too, but we are not doing boys in the girls team. But there are boys team. There's a possibility for boys teams, which would end up playing against girls team because again, what I said before, there's a big
Right.
number gap there, so they don't really have like there's not many boys only tournaments or teams for that matter.
Right.
So they end up playing in girls tournaments as well. But yeah, we're looking forward to at some point have a full boys team too.
Okay. There's definitely potential and getting the word out there. I'm sure there's some boys that, do you think there's the season where it's basketball and there's football. I'm not good with the seasons because like I said, I avoided the balls. What volleyball generally rec goes all the way through spring?
Rec runs 4 seasons.
Okay.
Rec will run you fall, winter, spring, and summer.
So in the spring then, do you branch off of rec to just do club, or you keep the rec going all 4
All year
seasons? Oh, wow.
All year long, yes.
Oh, you
We
guys
keep
are
both.
gluttons for punishment.
Apparently.
We definitely are.
Well, and it makes sense then that your 10-year-old should play because he's there.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and the thing is, not everyone, even at a lower cost, not everyone can get into club. So we don't want them to miss out. Rec runs the whole year, will run the whole year, because the ones that cannot afford or cannot make it will stay in rec playing. So that's one of the biggest things. We don't want anyone to stop playing if this is what they love.
And one very particular thing about rec is, for the most part, the majority of rec teams that you'll see out there, the coaches are volunteer parents.
Okay.
So they form the team, and then they ask who can coach, and someone said like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
In our case, even though we do have rec teams that we take to these leagues, our coaches have been coaching for years now. They may have started as volunteer coaches, but now there's years of experience accrued, and
That's great.
trainings, and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. So now it's experienced coaches while we're bringing also to the table in terms of what those rec teams are taking.
And what age range is rec?
It's
7U to 17U.
Okay. Okay. 7.
They can start very little. They're very cute.
Yeah. I would imagine so.
They're extremely cute seeing them play, but that's how they start. And so you see them how every season they get better. And the girl that didn't pass the ball the first season, it's passing it the next season or by the end of the season. So rec is very rewarding, I will say.
It is.
And rec would stay. Are they playing in Plano, McKinney, where are they actually playing?
They're playing in Denton right now.
Okay. And then for club, it's multi-state, right?
It could be multi-state. Right now, for the first year, we're staying local, only doing regional tournaments, but it's all around. It can be Plano, it can be Dallas City, it can be Louisville, Denton. What else did I saw? Fort Worth. So it's in the DFW area, but it's all around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Denton. I'm thinking, how are you finding your players? I know you're marketing, but what are you finding is the most where they're coming from?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Our girls.
Yeah. Okay.
Our athletes say, hey, I have a friend. They want to come next season.
That's one of them. And we have also seen girls from other teams at those rec leagues that we're playing that they, after games, they've come to us and they've said, what do we need to do to play with you guys?
So it looks like from the outside looking in, they're saying, we want to be with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fantastic. Have you found, I mean, it's only been a year, but is there an experience, moment where you were like, oh yeah, we're going to keep doing this? Something that happened that...
Well, for me, it happened very early on when I started coaching. I know I've told this story. She laughs. I've told this story 1,001 times, and somehow I always find myself telling it again. I started coaching because my sister had my niece in one of these rec leagues, and they were looking for a volunteer coach because they had no coach.
Okay.
And she spent all summer asking me to coach, and I'm like, no, I don't have the time. And I kept saying no all throughout the summer. Somehow she was not taking no for an answer, and she never stopped until I said yes, which I ultimately did, not to hear her anymore. But we had our 3-year-old. We had her.
She was weeks old.
Yeah, July 4th, 2021. Mm-hmm. But in August 23rd, she was already in her car seat in a volleyball court, watching me coach. And by end of September that same year, I already fell in love with the whole concept of coaching. I've always loved the sport, but I've never coached it. So I had no idea how it was going to be. By the end of September, I was already telling the parents, so, okay, I get 2 hours with the girls weekly. That's not enough. I need more time with them on the court. So I already found this other court somewhere else. Are you all good for this is what it's going to cost? And from there, it just went downhill.
Yeah, that's July. And September, you've already found we need more time and this is going to happen. And then in October, you're like, we're just going to do our own thing.
Well, it was October a couple of years after. So,
okay.
That was 2021. Wolfpack started 2023.
Right.
Yeah. I kept doing all the 4 seasons of rec on my own. And eventually I'm like, some of the other coaches I met along the way, and we started, sort of working together, and they loved the idea of jumping into an organization that had this mission, and that's how ultimately Wolfpack got its birth.
And our board, we're all a group of parents. Most of us do have kids playing volleyball. Not all of us.
Yeah, they all do.
And they're playing club, normal, like I would say normal club, but playing their high fees. And we're all very passionate about the game. Again, I never played it, but with years just watching the game, I'm very passionate about it. And I always call it, we're a group of parents that want the best for our kids. We have the love for the games. And we don't want it to stop with our kids. Like, we want to give this out to anyone that's willing to learn from us and be part of us.
That's fantastic. When you're practicing for club, is it also in Denton?
This year, we're going to practice in Pilot Point.
Oh, okay. I'm like, because clubs, you're traveling anyway, you've got to figure this out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that works out for you. Do y'all live somewhere between Denton and Pilot Point?
We live in Aubrey.
Okay. Like, that's kind of a stretch there, but yeah, whatever works. What works for you? I'm curious then, obviously there's a lot of athletics and there's a lot of fees involved with athletics. You were not even a parent of a child who was playing, and your niece is how old now?
Oh my God, she's 13?
She's 13.
Okay,
She's
so
in 8th grade. But mind you, she's not playing with me anymore.
oh, I'm done with you.
She's pretty much done with volleyball, I think. She did about 3 seasons with me, and then she didn't want to play. I guess as the competition level started going up and up and up, she wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
But I kept going.
I'm thinking that there's other parents and other sports that the possibility for them to create something like Wolfpack Dynasty for their own sport, for their own kids, for their community, that's a potential.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I was wanting to have you all here, is to explain it was a thought and you ran with it. So it's not like you have to be involved. I mean, like I said, I keep thinking along the lines of you've got kids that are coming up, but it's going to be a while before your girls get there. And
our main mission, particularly me, that I'm in the court coaching, it's for pretty much everyone else's daughters.
Yeah.
Because mine are not gonna be there for a while. I'm looking forward for them to really do it if they want to and they like it. But yeah, I'm a long ways from that.
Yeah.
And I will say, so Wolfpack Dynasty, it's actually registered in the state as Wolfpack Dynasty Athletics. Volleyball club is our DBA. And the reason we did that is because we have 3 kids. And out of the 3 kids, I'm guessing that at some point, one of them is going to say no to volleyball. And with that said, if this is something that we want to continue growing with athletics, we can bring other sports. We can do the same for basketball. We can do the same for cheer. We can do the same for soccer if that's what they're looking for, because I think we're very involved in our kids' sports journey. And when we go in, we go all out. So that was one of the main reasons that we went, let's do something very overall. And then our biggest thing right now is volleyball. I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon. But if later on we decide that we want more, we can branch out and do the same for other type of athletes.
All right. Well, then I guess that really answers what I'm thinking along the lines. There's other people that, you guys are going to get this figured out. You're going to be like, okay, you want to do that? Come with us. And that's one of the things that I love about nonprofits. If there is a family that says, well, we'd like to do that for cheer, rather than starting their own nonprofit, get in touch with Jean and Luis and see how you can be connected with Wolfpack Dynasty Athletics and make it, you're partnering together. You're already established. So it's not something that they need to get the ball rolling and work through all of that. They just need to participate and help out. So
definitely.
Pretty much.
That's great.
We're more than happy.
Awesome. We're going to have all your contact information in the show notes, but is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we take off?
Any help that, whether it's volunteering in the organization or donating for the athletes, any help is welcome. It's a journey for them that a lot of them have an interest to take this all the way to college, and any money that or time that people put in helps that journey.
Fantastic. I appreciate you coming on, and go ahead.
No, I will say that, yes, it is a journey. And for all the parents that have kids out there in the club season, we hope to see you all in the court. We're more than excited for our first club season. Every day that gets closer, I get jitters and I'm like so ready to be at the court. But just know that we might not be the most experienced coaches. We don't have everything that other clubs do that have been in an organization for years already. But we have the passion. We have the knowledge. Like, our coaches are constantly getting trained and are looking for ways to learn new things. And we're just here to help your kids get there.
Yeah, and I can see the passion. So there's that. Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you all coming on, and I look forward to hearing more about the club season next year.
Awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for being a part of the success of the Heart of North Texas podcast. This episode was brought to you by Credit the Cause, home of the infinite donation. Please check our show notes for contact information for the program, our guests, and our sponsors, and please tag us on your social media. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.